question number 6 in my How Do I series comes from Holly, and she wants to know, her question is excessive leash pulling as well as lunging towards other dogs while barking. She's not trying to get at them to hurt, but more to smell and play, and aggressiveness towards strangers. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure what you mean by aggressiveness towards strangers, unless that just means while on leash, you're walking by and maybe she growls or barks aggressively at them or lunges at them. So when your dog is on leash, I highly recommend that you have a prong collar on your dog. The prong collar should fit up at the top part of the neck, close to the head, right behind the ears, and it should be tight enough so you can remove links of the prong collar, to fit it correctly to your dog. And it should fit tight enough so that it doesn't slide down the neck. It's a pretty tight fit. I mean, it's not. You'll know when it's too tight if the prongs come to a point, bend up to a point at any point in the collar. I do have a video on how to fit prong collars on my website. So if you want to look at that video, that'll help you a lot with the fitting of the prong collar. Anyway, point back to the question. So how do you stop your dog from lunging and barking when on leash and on a walk at other dogs and people? So when you're walking, you have the prong collar on. Teach your dog to heel. So that means walking beside you. Again, there's a video on my website, how to teach how to heel, okay? Or you can look at many videos on my Facebook page. But when the correction for that type of thing, the key to that is your timing. So you're going to actually correct your dog before they get to the point of barking, before they get to the point of lunging and pulling on the leash. Your correction is going to come at the very moment that you notice them wanting to get excited, looking to get excited. Each dog goes through a cycle that takes them to their highest level of excitement. So the beginning of that cycle may be a dog who's walking around panting and then stops. That moment would be a correction moment. Staring, focusing, being intent on what they see coming. That would be a good time to correct. Ears perked up, paying attention. So you're looking for different little body language moments. These are the beginnings of the cycle of arousal, of excitement, and that's when you want to correct. For a few reasons. Because, number one, if you correct that early in the cycle, you're probably not going to have to correct as high as you would after excitement. Number two, if you wait until your dog is already barking and lunging, your dog probably isn't going to feel or hear the correction that you are giving anyway. At that point, it's probably too late to actually be correcting your dog because they're already way up here in their excitement level. And when it's way up here, it's hard for your correction to get higher than that to squash it down. So if you start at the beginning of the cycle, when the excitement level is down here, you can squash that excitement back down at a lower correction level and get their attention and continue walking past whatever it is that would cause that excitement. Now, for a while, as you're working on that, you may actually need to make, say you're passing somebody on the sidewalk, you may actually have to get off the sidewalk and give some space between your dog and that person, or between your dog and the other dog, just so that your dog doesn't just to give that spatial pressure off of your dog until they are able to understand what it is you are requiring of them. And then over time, you'll be able to actually pass other dogs more closely, and they'll be able to handle it. I hope that all makes sense. It's really hard to explain sometimes. So, again, prong collar, timing, those are going to be your big deals. and teaching heel on the leash.